Hi everybody, it's Barry here again from Turning the Page, and it's so good to be with you, sharing some thoughts and about mental health, spiritual formation, and all the other stuff, good stuff in between. Uh, I'm always marvel at how some experts just seem to effortlessly do something that I would find incredibly difficult. And my earliest experience of this was watching shearers shear our sheep on our family farm, and where I was raised. I'd be mesmerized by the smoothness and the speed by which a fleece would just be removed off the back of a sheep. These shearers, they'd done this over and over and over again, rehearsed and practiced the skill repeatedly. There was speed, but there was also gentleness and like a fluidity to their movements. These shearers, it just seemed to come so naturally to them, like they were born with a shearing piece in their hands. Um, and he had created this person. He had created muscle memory, and he had created thinking tracks in his brain that were automatic. He could have done it blindfolded. Seriously, they could have shorn a sheep blindfolded. And I also marvel at musicians who practice and practice and practice a piece of music to get it just right. They are preparing for the performance. They go over notes time and time and time again to get it just right. And it's the same in sport. Sportsmen and women spend incredible amounts of time where they practice their skills. They probably spend more time off the field training their bodies than they do actually in the game. They are rehearsing and preparing for that moment that a particular skill is needed. Think also of the actor preparing for a play. They read their lines, they memorize and take them into themselves as if they were the very, very person that they are portraying. It all just flows so naturally. But what comes naturally to you? What comes naturally to you? What is a skill that, think of something that you have learned and how long it took to get it right. But now it just comes so naturally. When I was a boy, watching those men shear our sheep, I said to myself, I could never do that. I could never do it. I was quite unwell as a child, with asthma and other illnesses, and I couldn't contemplate doing anything like that. So I said into my brain that rehearsal note, I could never do that. But in fact, actually, I did go on to learn how to shear sheep. I didn't shear very many, perhaps a dozen, but I learned the basic skills. I never thought I would be a writer either, but here I am. I had quite a traumatic event related to my writing in school from a very angry teacher. It paralyzed me in so many ways. But I kept rehearsing the lies. I could never do that. I'm not a writer, and I'm not good enough. I rehearsed them so many times that they became the truth. First, I thought like a child, but now I want to think like an adult, don't I? I'm an adult. And Paul says in 1 Corinthians 13 that when I was a child, I spoke like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became an adult, I put an end to childish ways. 1 Corinthians 13:11. I rehearse some new lines now. I recently heard this sentence. You don't get progress without change. And I think it sort of comes from this quote by George Bernard Shaw. Progress is impossible without change. And those who cannot change their minds cannot progress, cannot change anything, actually. And many people I have met want the progress, but they don't want the change. Change is work. It's hard and takes time. There's unknowns. They want the magic pill or a quick fix solution. Very, very few want to actually rehearse some new lines each day for the play that they are involved in. I love to watch cricket, and cricket is a game, and a cricket player has to constantly learn and perfect new ways of playing the game because the game is changing. They spend hours and hours practicing both old and new skills. They listen to their coaches. All of this so that when the pressure comes on, and it will, they are perfectly rehearsed and ready for it. They know the shot to play. And it's unlearning the old and learning the new. You know, spectators watch, and I watch cricket and think it all just seems to just come naturally. But in reality, it was many, many long, hard hours of practicing and rehearsing, few of which any of the spectators are willing to do themselves. What is your daily rehearsal, I wonder? What's your daily rehearsal practice? You already have one. Actually, you do. It's those little lines of self-talk that you say over and over again. But what about intentionally making a daily practice of repeating new and positive self-talk to yourself? I talk about this in my course, Dig Yourself Out of Your Hole. And I have a daily rehearsal that I listen to every day. It's an audio version of my thinking compass. And so every day I slowly and steady my anxiety and depression. Those have shifted. The old thinking tracks are gathering cobwebs through lack of use. And new and better pathways invite me every day. Here about just a few of the sentences that I listen to every day. Number one, I'm training the brain by rehearsing the truth. Another one is, I'm making garlands for God, our God. That's Psalm 20, verse 7. I'm making a difference in the lives of people that God intimately knows. I am reaching people beyond what I understand and know. I am enjoying writing and creating every day. I'm meditating, researching, collecting stories, quotes, and filing every day. That's my writing. I'm writing from the heart. I'm discounting my mistakes before they discount me. I'm holding myself to a standard of grace, not perfection. I'm building my life on great thoughts repeated over and over again until they are programmed in. Look, do you need some help in creating some new thinking habits, some new thinking tracks? Look, send me an email, barry@turningthepage.co.nz. I'd like to help. Here's some biblical passages to think about. Fix these words of mine in your hearts and minds. Tie them as symbols on your hands and bind them on your foreheads. Teach them to your children, talking about them when you sit down at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. That's from Deuteronomy 11, 18 and 19. Another one is, you shall therefore lay up these words of mine in your heart and in your soul, and you shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. Deuteronomy 11:18. Let not steadfast love and faithfulness forsake you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart. Proverbs 3, verse 3. Bind them on your heart always. Tie them around your neck. Proverbs 6:21. Here's some quotes for you to think about. Progress is impossible without change, and those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. George Bernard Shaw. Another quote is, the difficulty and pain of change is the fear of giving away my identity to become someone I don't